Joining me now is Libertarian commentator Kristen Abraham and LNP MP Phil Thompson. Welcome to both of you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on the program. Want to ask about this topic, first of all. You know, it seems like the Anzac Day fights come earlier and earlier every year. Chris Minns, the New South Wales Premier, has made, I think, a very sensible decision to say, you know what, we don't need the supermarkets open on Anzac Day. We don't need the cafes, takeaway restaurants, things like that. They'll still be able to trade. But big things like Coles, Woolies, they are not trading on Anzac Day. Phil Thompson, you're a veteran. What do you make of this decision? Is this the way to keep this day sacred and preserve the specialness of Anzac Day?
Well, the freedoms that we enjoy are on the back of hard-fought battles, wars and sacrifice our brave men and women in uniform, our veterans and their families have made. And if you cast your mind back only to Anzac Day, there was a concert that was playing in New South Wales, in Sydney, right where the Anzac Day March was going to be going through. And at the time, I spoke out against it. The government was caught off guard. They didn't really know how to handle it. So this has now progressed to where I think they've landed on a good position to go, well, we don't want that to happen again, because it was very disrespectful to veterans and their families. And I think we won't have certain things trading is a good thing, and I welcome it, and I think it should be spread across the country.
Kristen Abraham, what are your thoughts on this? Because there's a lot of people out there who say, well, it's the supermarket's right to decide whether or not they're open or not. I think it's kind of interesting because I've seen on social media an awful lot of people who are on the far left defending the right of big business supermarkets to have their day to continue to trade. But what's your take on this, Kristen?
For me, Anzac Day, we have a tradition. We go to the dawn service, me and my friends. We then do breakfast together. And then we sit around and watch the footy and have a few beers afterwards. So that's our tradition. As a libertarian, I'm kind of in a catch-22 with this, because I do believe we should have that sense of community brought together. We should have a government that wants to ensure we are remembering our Anzacs and living on in their image and appreciating the fact that we have our democracy and the ability to criticize our politicians as well. That's everything that they fought for as well. But I don't think that the government should pick winners and losers as to who can and cannot trade. So, on one hand, I think what they're trying to do is beautiful and I respect it. And I love it because I pay my own tribute to our diggers. But winners and losers, the government shouldn't at all.
Yeah, look, I get that, but just Phil, I want to go back to you just one more time on this, because it does seem to me like there is this constant attempt to make every public holiday like every other day and take anything special out of the calendar. But we all know every society, every nation, every faith, whatever, has a calendar, and there are special days where you do and don't do certain things. I mean, Phil, do you think that this is one of those things where, we really need to do more to protect this day and possibly other, days that, I don't want to say sacred because it's not religious, but that are important for us and bring us all together as Australians wherever in the world we come from?
I do. I really do, because it is one of our most important days in the national calendar, where we reflect on those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in war, those who succumbed to their war within here, back in home soil, and to the families that have carried a great burden. I reflect on my mates that were killed overseas, and I spend a day with them and having a beer and remembering and laughing and crying and going through a big ball of emotions. And I think we need to bring this nation back to closer together, teach it in schools, why we respect it. We don't encourage public servants to opt in and opt out of different days, what they can and can't take off, because I think it waters down the significance of Anzac Day. I support the move, and in the garrison city of Townsville, our whole city stands still. It pauses, it reflects, and we all come together as one.
Yeah, no, look, I think you're right, and I think, we will get to the situation where, as the fight against Australia Day continues, they're going to start moving to that next front, which is going to be Anzac Day.